The Substance is directed by Coralie Fargeat, and it stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. And in this new body horror movie, a fading celebrity uses a drug from the black market that supposedly makes her younger and more beautiful. But when she gets addicted to it, she suffers severe consequences. The Substance was a movie I was really intrigued to see. I've seen the trailers many times and I was really just excited to see what this movie had in store for me. I knew it was kind of going to be a bit like a body horror movie, and I like those sort of movies, so I was interested to see if this movie was any good. And I'm very happy to say that The Substance is one of the best films of the year. The Substance is a great movie about the beauty standards that people have on women and how those standards affect those people as well. And it also tells a story about addiction to drugs as well. And what I think this movie does really well, it balances the more serious side of its story while also making fun of the people that cause people to do these things. So it's a great mishmash of comedic, over-the-top tone with really dark and serious tone as well. For example, the villain in this movie is very over-the-top. He has no substance, pun intended, and he's just very over-the-top and evil. But that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a mockery of these types of executives who just have these absurd beauty standards of people. But overall, this movie is very tragic. Following a fading celebrity who now thinks she's ugly because people say she is, and that she's being fired because of how she looks now, was a really good idea. And even though you don't think personally that she looks bad, she doesn't have anything to worry about, you kind of understand why she goes down this path of taking the substance. And I thought the addiction part of this movie was done so well. It felt so realistic that our main character makes an exception for one day, and all of a sudden, every day is an exception, and that's where the consequences come for her. And that is pretty much what real addiction is like. And I thought they portrayed that really well in this movie. This movie is trying to say a lot. Messages of appreciate how you look now, themes of addiction and how it can affect you in later life, and how people just have absurd beauty standards of people, even though people age. It's trying to do many things, and I think it all balanced those storylines and elements really well. I will say the only flaw I did have with the writing was that there were a few plot holes here and there, and there were a few things that didn't really make sense to me. For example, I'm not going to spoil, but something is said midway through this movie, and I thought it was going to be involved in later on in the story, but it never is. And I kind of had it in the back of my mind, like, what happens there? You know what I mean? So there's just moments like that which I really thought should have been added into the movie. But what makes this movie better than usual is how it looks. This movie is gnarly, hard to watch, and I've said it many times. I'm not really affected by blood and gore, guts and all that. I can eat while watching that stuff. I'm very glad I didn't eat when I watched this movie, because my God, there were many moments in this movie where I was like that. Like, what the flip? The body horror scenes are disgusting. They make you sick. They looked realistic. I honestly have to take my hats off to the makeup artists. They did an absolutely flawless job here in this movie. And I think what made it more disgusting was that this is a very colourful movie. The colours really stand out here. It reminds me of like kids' TV shows where it's very colourful and jolly. And then in this film it's like that, and you're contrasting that with really dark and grim bloody scenes. So the contrast of that just made those moments even more grim. And this movie is also shot and directed absolutely brilliantly. As I said, it's very colourful, the colours really stand out, and it's shot very statically. There's not that much camera movement. There are when people are in a rush or in a panic, the camera goes all over the place. So I really appreciated the director's vision here and how the movie was shot. And the sound design was also a big component to this movie. Without that, this movie wouldn't have been as good. Because, oh my God, some of the noises you hear in the theatre, wow. People eating, bones cracking, stuff coming out of people's bodies. Oh, it's disgusting. It's hard to listen to. But my God, did it just amp up the experience. And finally, the performances were all really strong. Demi Moore gives a career best performance for me. She has to do so much in every scene, and she pulls it off flawlessly. Margaret Qualley, an actress that I really like, shines again in this movie. And Dennis Quaid as this evil executive. It's clear he was having a lot of fun in this role, and he just pulled off the dark, over-the-top evil side of his character brilliantly. So overall, The Substance is a great breakdown of beauty standards in the entertainment industry, addiction, and how those beauty standards can affect people. It's also brilliantly shot. The makeup is absolutely fantastic. The performances are all great here as well. If you love body horror movies, this is certainly one you have to go watch as soon as you can. But please do not eat while watching this movie. No way, no way. This is one of the best movies of the year. I'd highly encourage you to see this movie and support it. The Substance is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. And guys, that's it for the end of this review. If you have seen The Substance, do let me know your thoughts on it. Did you like it? Did you think it was a bit too much for you? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. I'll see you later.